Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. My name is Jessica. I'm from the Assistive Technology Advocacy Center, and we are here today to talk about assistive technology and independent living while using the ASPYIR planning tool. We are going to get started in just a second, and I want to thank everyone for taking the time. Please note that if you want to add comments in the chat, you are more than able to, but I also invite you to come off of mute. And I am periodically going to ask for questions and feedback on what we're learning. So feel free to join in, and we will go from there. Let me make sure no one else is in the waiting room. Oh, someone else is in the waiting room. Okay. All right. Okay. Um, Here we go. So I am part of the Assistive Technology Advocacy Center of Disability Rights New Jersey, and we are part of New Jersey's Protection and Advocacy Agency. We offer legal assistance and information and referral services for free related to people with disabilities. And obviously, the Assistive Technology Advocacy Center is focused on assistive technology. I am part of a mighty team of two. My boss isn't here today. Uh, they are out in the world spreading the word about assistive technology at a conference. Um, we are here to do a variety of different things for the state of New Jersey, including information and referral, assistive technology demos, our connection with the Lending Center at Advancing Opportunities, which is a try before you buy assistive technology situation. And it works great for people throughout the state. And then finally, we have connections with Goodwill Home Medical that focuses on getting uh, reused, durable home medical equipment out into the community. So we are all about assistive technology here in a variety of different ways. Okay. So today, because we only have an hour, I'm going to jump right in to ASPYIR and how to use it with assistive technology. So the main goal of ASPYIR is to have students and adults with disabilities advocating for themselves at places like IEP meetings and beyond. It is a free online questionnaire that generates a report that helps students prepare for high school and beyond. And each report is individualized and person-centered. This aspect is really important because the more you put into the planning tool, the more ASPYIR helps you. The less you put into ASPYIR and the less involved your answers are, uh, the less involved your results will be. And so it won't be as supportive a document as it could be if you explained further about your wants and needs for different aspects of life. I am looking at the chat just to see if we have any questions so far. Are there slides available you can share? Yes, I am able to share the slides with you after this presentation. Thank you for asking. Again, everyone should feel free to continue to ask questions in the chat or come off of mute if that suits your access needs better. Okay, so ASPYIR helps students gain a better understanding of not only their strengths, needs, and preferences, as the IEP states, but also allows them to take the lead. They are the center of this planning tool. I'm going to say this a few times throughout this presentation. If you are helping a student or an adult, young adult or otherwise, because I truly believe you can take ASPYIR at 45 years old if, say, you want to change in career. You should not be answering on behalf of the person you might be assisting. Their answers should be their own. If they are not answering for themselves, ASPYIR by definition doesn't work. They really need to be answering the questions and the prompts on their own. You can still be a supporter. By all means, we all need support, right? But their answers should be their own. I'm just looking to see if we have any questions so far. And again, feel free to come off of mute if you so choose. Okay. All right. So we can't really get started until we actually define assistive technology within our topic for today. So to begin with, assistive technology is any item, piece of equipment, or product system that is used to increase, maintain, or improve capabilities of individuals with disabilities. That is a mouthful. In plain language, what that means is anything that can be used to assist people with disabilities further, children or adults, in accessing parts of everyday life, be that education, be that employment, be that independent living, which is what we're focusing on today. As you can see from the diagram, part of assistive technology is not just about devices and the stuff we're using, right? Part of assistive technology is about services. And services include how you select what you need to use in terms of AT, how you acquire it. And acquisition is kind of interesting because you might not realize that you already have assistive technology available to you or your family member or whomever you're supporting. But it might actually be there and you don't realize it. And then the last part of services, how you're going to go about using your AT device, how it's implemented in the different aspects of a person's life. Okay. So going in a little bit deeper about ASPYIR. ASPYIR, while covering three main sections, education, employment, and independent living, also addresses subcategories like hobbies, interests, motivation, goals, how we receive help, IEPs, strengths, preferences, and needs, accommodations, self-advocacy, and organizations for people with disabilities. Now, I've just talked at you a lot, so I'm going to invite you, before we head into the nitty-gritty here, to offer some comments or questions before we move on. Okay. So coming into the actual results and kind of looking at what they look like, this section of the results, you can see at the top, focuses on education and training goals after high school. However, I would like to direct your attention to the bottom of the slide. The bottom of the slide, it is a little bit difficult to read, and I apologize for that. Says, I think I will need the following accommodations and/or modifications to reach my potential. And this person is listing extended time for tests, extended time for assignments, calculator access, laptop access, timers, task managers, speech to text, post-it notes, and an agenda. I would like you all to write in the chat, based on the last couple bullets, what are some places in life where we might need something like a calculator, a laptop, and/or any of these organizational devices at the bottom here. Okay, we see budgeting, schoolwork, or independent living for managing finances. Yes. Anything else we can think of? Paying rent and bills. Gosh, yes. Lots of tools available for these purposes. The reason I'm asking you to think about these ideas is that we're going to make connections today that show that independent living bleeds into employment needs, it bleeds into education needs, and these three main sections of the planning tool are all interconnected with each other, so that we can use these transferable skills in these different areas to accomplish a variety of different goals. So again, we mentioned schoolwork, managing finances, paying rent and bills, and budgeting. Now, unfortunately, this might look like a good idea for the day. Having a binge fest watching Harry Potter all day. However, this cannot always be real life, and so therefore, we have to get ready for how we or others manage independent living skills. And ASPYIR and using it in different ways can help us do this. So, this screen shows that the goals for independent living are listed here based on what the student has answered. And after high school, this student wants to live in an apartment or house. But also there's a caveat after that, another bullet that says living in an apartment with a roommate or friends. So again, you might not have answers here that completely line up with one another. This person is showing that they're unsure of whether or not they want to be by themselves, or perhaps they want to live with a roommate or friends. Now, other people may answer this more in a way that shows, I definitely know that for me, I'm going to want to live with a roommate. It really depends on the individual's answers. Again, going back to the idea that ASPYIR can only be answered by the person themselves. They need to be able to identify with and without assistance what they want and need out of independent living. So it is okay at this time that this individual doesn't necessarily know for sure what they want. They've made the choice to answer in a way that shows they have options. And that's okay too. Just gonna check the chat for 1 second. Okay. And then this final bullet goes along with what one of the audience members has mentioned. How can I make sure that my assistive tech I need for school and work will allow me to blend in? Okay. Now, this is a big question that goes back to one of my original comments, which is that education connects to employment, connects to independent living, and around in a circle we go. The assistive tech that someone may need for school and work also applies to independent living needs. Going back to the slide that shows us accommodation needs, timers, task managers, speech to text, post-it notes, and an agenda, whether physical or via a phone or a laptop, are all tools that can be used and are very valuable in independent living. So we want to make sure that we remember and we remind ourselves and the people we're supporting that these independent living devices and tools can be used throughout different spheres of life, work, school, and the community. Do I have any questions or comments so far? Okay. All right. So, using the chat box or coming off of mute, I would like to ask you the following. Do you consider this assistive technology? Okay, great. We have answers coming in. Everyone's agreeing that yes, this is considered assistive technology. And I am blocking the picture, which is the most important thing. So I'll move this around. Yes, 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 in the sense of it's an AT service. Question, follow up to the comment here that says, yes, in the sense of it's an AT service. Do we consider a manual wheelchair to be an AT service or an AT device? Feel free to put your answers in the chat. One person says device.
Yeah, sorry. I was the person that wrote in the sense of the AT service. Obviously, what's on the screen is an AT device. I was kind of talking about the tool that you were describing. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, fair. Totally. That makes a lot of sense. Yes, the tool is very much a service. I just wanted to make sure that everyone was thinking about the manual wheelchair itself. Okay. Do we consider a pair of glasses assistive technology? Okay, some people said yes, and one person said no, as they are available to everyone. That raises a really good point. Some assistive technology, in fact, I would venture to say a lot of assistive technology is available to everyone. Something becomes assistive technology when they are used to further the wants, needs, and independence of people with disabilities. So, at the beginning phases of having just a tool like a pair of glasses, a pair of glasses becomes assistive technology once it furthers the support and needs and wants of someone with a disability. Many people do not realize that they are using assistive technology in day-to-day life. That's why some of these images and tools are, you know, not controversial, but the answer that's indicating no, because they're available to everyone, it makes you think, right? But if you are wearing glasses, by definition, the glasses are helping you to see better, understand your surroundings better, understand what you're reading better, etc. So in that way, they do become assistive technology. Okay. What about some of our handy devices that we have in life, like tablets and communication boards, and tablets that become communication devices? Are these assistive technology? Okay, people are answering yes. The tablet being used as a communication device is showing you how an ordinary piece of technology that, again, is available to everyone becomes assistive technology to access information and show people what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you need. Okay. So with all that in mind, oh, more. Yes, if they are, um, yes, if they are used for communication or accessing information that you otherwise would not be able to access without it. Right. And we have someone in agreement. Okay. So we're going to keep going here. Assistive technology and ASPYIR. With the idea that, again, ASPYIR stands for Accessing Strategies to Prepare Youth for Independence and Responsibility, we want to look at these considerations. Do you have anything assistive technology related in mind that you think might work for you or those you are supporting? Because we went through some ideas of what assistive technology could be before, we want to remind people that assistive technology may already be at your fingertips and you might not have realized it or might not have realized the different ways in which the same AT, the same type of AT devices and tools can be used for different things. I always like to give the example of a wet paper towel. A wet paper towel can become assistive technology by putting it underneath a plate or a bowl that you need to prepare food with. Suddenly, you don't have to worry about the bowl or plate moving while you're preparing your food or while you're eating. But the paper towel itself is not assistive technology until you use it in a way that supports someone's need to keep the plate from moving or keep the bowl from moving during prep or eating. It also saves you about $10, right? There are placemat grips that you can buy, but why buy them when you already have the AT available to you? You just need to figure out how to use it. And then finally, the initial consideration here, the second one is, what do you absolutely not want? I always go back to the story of someone telling our director of assistive technology that they will never use a tool that makes them look like they have a red dot on their forehead. It will simply make them want to break the tool and just walk away. So identifying what it is within assistive technology that you absolutely do not want is critical. Do we have any thoughts, comments before I keep going? Okay. And we march on. All right. Part of the reason why ASPYIR is so important is because it promotes advocacy for people with disabilities. Now, within assistive technology and self-advocacy combined together, this becomes a matter of asking questions, being involved in device selection. So not just having mom or dad or teacher or supporter of some kind say, you know what? This tool looks like the perfect tool for John. If John hasn't expressed any interest in the device or any questions or ideas of how it would best suit his needs, then they're not properly involved in the device selection process. So again, talking about how the assistive technology suits or does not suit you. Does your assistive technology increase productivity and confidence? Now, this is a tough question because this is a question that likely has to be answered over a period of time. A person cannot know right away if something is actually as helpful as they think it is in the beginning. Or maybe they don't know anything about the assistive technology when they start out with it, and they have to really learn about it from scratch. It is not common knowledge for everyone to know everything about all the tools in the universe, right? So you're going to get a better sense as time moves on if it's increasing the productivity, if it's helping you get what you need to get done, completed, if you feel good using it, and if you feel like you should continue using products that are related to this tool. Maybe your experience understanding whether or not you are being productive with the assistive technology shows you that it's going to lead to other types of assistive technology, tools, services, or assistive technology accommodations. Part of the planning tool and why it should work so well if you're using it as carefully as possible is that it's building on different things. It builds from education to employment to independent living. And even though we're focused on independent living today, you can still use, again, the other building blocks from the employment section, from the education section to build upon your employment skills, needs, wants, etc. Okay, so with those building blocks in mind, the last thing you might want to think about here is what assistive technology can you think of that may be essential to improving your independence? Again, another big question that varies for a lot of different people. So I'm going to ask you all to put in the chat, if you or someone you know was using assistive technology, what do you think may be essential for more than some people? Understanding that everything is individualized in terms of improving independence. What are some types of assistive technology that can benefit everyone? Okay, someone answered, oh, I like this one. Automated door openings, elevators, and ramps. Ramps are very useful for parents, are they not? In addition to students and adults with disabilities. So this is another way that we're thinking about how assistive technology can be used for the biggest number of people coming from all different walks of life. We have more answers. We have Alexa and AAC devices, environmental controls for home, yes. These all help with improving independence, and they are used by a great number of people from many different walks of life, disability or not. These are all good answers. Haha, you just activated my, that's very funny. I'm not going to say her name again because I don't want to disrupt the piece. That is very funny. Someone's agreeing. Okay, great. Anything else that we think may be essential to improving independence? With the understanding that for a voice activated device, for example, not everyone with a disability is going to be able to use the device as well as others may be able to, depending on their ability status, right? But knowing that the basic idea of a voice activated device and a voice activated assistant can help you do so many different things. Turn on your lights, arm your house, arm, um, ar arming your, um, oh, I already said arming your house. Tur Setting up a list, making sure you have reminders, setting a timer, all of these things exist within that device that are also available within those tools, those needs are also available within other assistive technology devices. So these are all good answers. Okay. All right. So here we have the Jetsons predicting the future. We have Zoom meetings. We have the robot vacuums. We have smartwatches and we have telehealth, all of which exist today. Um, so considering that planning for your wants and needs during your day and how assistive technology factors into that process means a handful of different things. People with disabilities and whomever is supporting them should strongly take into consideration the tasks that are being done. So what needs to get done during the day? What exactly is the person trying to accomplish? Another consideration is the time of day, right? For example, if someone has a smartwatch that is giving them reminders, uh, in the morning versus the evening, uh, if you are too tired, let's say you have a limited arm and hand function, if you are too tired by the end of the day and if you are a person who experiences a lot of fatigue, you may not want to use your smartwatch um, at the end of the day for things like reminders, notifications, etc. You may want something else readily available to you so that you don't have to focus on looking down at your arm or moving your arm in such a way if fatigue is something that you handle. You may instead want to have written notes posted throughout your room. You may want the voice activated devices to come into play and say, reminder, um, tomorrow morning you have XYZ appointment, XYZ engagement. So time of day does come into play, especially if you rely on sound. If you rely on sound, for support within your AT devices, you may not want something blasting at night in terms of a reminder, a to-do item. You also may run into an issue where you're at a engagement that requires silence. So you may have to silence your devices where you were originally relying on sound. Um, your AT then should become something that makes sense with whatever task or situation you're in. Okay. So again, time of day can be a factor that you should consider. You are, always able, if you can, to have multiple of the same AT tools. Um, Now, this doesn't mean buying 10 different laptops for, every room or what have you. More of what I'm saying here is that your assistive technology tools, uh, they may be harder to carry for someone with a physical disability. So, for example, you could have um, iPads or laptops uh, available at home and at work, at school and or home. Um, so again, the independent living part of this all is connecting with the other spheres of life, with work, with school. You may need grabbers when you're doing laundry. Some people are not able to reach into their washing machines or their dryers with ease. But grabbers are also really easy tools to have available in multiple spots within your living situation. If you have trouble carrying things upstairs or, carrying things around in general, if you don't have stairs in your home, if stairs are not a factor for you or they don't work for you, you can have things like a grabber in multiple rooms. And that's an easy way of using an AT tool for different functions. If you drop something off your nightstand, uh, you know, here comes the grabber. If you need to do your laundry, here comes the grabber, right? Like, there are different ways to use AT tools for different needs. And then finally, um, you should always consider AT used while adapting on the go. Anybody who has a disability, especially, knows that adapting is part of especially a part of life and disability. So when things happen, assistive technology that is quick and easy and more transportable, in a variety of different situations can become very useful. I'd like to use the example of a grip pen. You may see a variety, endless styles of grippers for using a pen or pencil or another writing implementation, for people who who have a need to not and are not necessarily able to grip the writing utensils as easily as possible. However, similar tools can also be used. Um, Gripping devices can also be used for utensils. They can also be used for an easier way to apply makeup. Again, tools that can be used as AT in a variety of different ways for a variety of different reasons. If someone is carrying their phone and wallet around, but they also need additional AT support when eating, it becomes very useful to have a AT device like a gripper to attach to utensils in a restaurant, whether they're plastic um, uh, or not, or metal, or what have you. Um, uh, Reusable or not reusable. Devices become very handy in a variety of different situations. Um, if someone who has mobility concerns is in a meeting and they drop something while they're on screen, let's say like in a meeting that's virtual, um, there are different ways to use AT that's already at your disposal to help you accomplish what you need, pick up what you dropped. Um, the the idea of the grabber being the only thing that allows you to access objects on the floor becomes a different story when you don't have access to your grabber, and maybe you have to grab your mobility device to push forward whatever it is you dropped. So again, using the AT available in whatever ways are needed during a situation. And taking the time also when you are in these situations to plan ahead about how you might need to use the assistive technology in these different situations. If you have 45 minutes to get ready in the morning before you have to get in your car or public transportation for a meeting, how are you going to best use AT? How could you use best AT in those situations? Let's see, we have a new comment. Oh, okay. Um, sure, no problem. Um, Again, if people would like to engage in the chat, if let's use that hypothetical. If we have 45 minutes to get ready for work in the morning, what AT might we be using to make sure that we are accomplishing what we need to do in the right time and getting to our morning meetings? Alarm or timer. Good, good. What if you have mobility concerns and it's not just about keeping yourself on the time frame? What if you have difficulty getting your shoes on or getting your pants on or getting your dress on, what have you? What AT might you use then? Dressing aids. Okay. I'm gonna dig a little deeper there and suggest something like a shoehorn or a button fastener. Okay, these are all those are both examples of dressing aids. Again, and also not for nothing, but if you have the shoehorn in your bag or your purse or what have you, and it just so happens to be a longer shoehorn, then it becomes a device in which you can help pick things up off the floor, depending on what you dropped. We also have another idea, adapted clothing, very good. Again, all coming back to the this fear of independent living. Good. So this helps us get out on time in the morning, right? All of these ideas, timers, dressing assistants, adaptive clothing, all of these and more are part of helping us get up and get ready. Good. Okay. Okay. Now, um, these ideas look simple on the surface, but they're actually not. We want to really use what we already have at our disposal. So, assistive technology that's used for something in particular can become assistive technology that's used for something else later on. You want to make sure that you think about ways in which the assistive technology that you've used previously can assist you in your future and how you can use the same devices for different needs. Now, does this always work? Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes a specific device is needed for a specific task, skill, what have you. But many times the AT can be used for multiple reasons. And finally, this idea that transferable skills are transferable for a reason, okay? The idea of transferable skills is used very often within the disability services space, no matter what you're doing when you're assisting people with disabilities. However, transferable skills is not actually a disability only term, right? Transferable skills exist for everyone. So as you move throughout your independent living needs, you can figure out what skills are benefiting you in relation to independent living in and how they can be used in other areas. How can I use my independent living skills at my job? How can I use my independent living skills at my um, high school or college and beyond? What are the different ways that the skills meant for a specific area can actually be used all over the place for many different reasons? So those are the two takeaways that I have for you related to assistive technology and independent living. Okay. Understanding that a bunch of people had to leave. Thank you for those that stayed. Do you have any final questions or thoughts before we end?
I have one for you. Terry Wofford from Wyoming. Is this tool intended only for individuals in your state? And once the information is collected, does it go to you, or can you specify who receives the information?
That is a really good question. So, the answer is complex because the tool the tool has frequently asked questions that apply to students within New Jersey. However, the tool itself, the planning tool itself, can serve everyone in New Jersey or not. It's just that the information provided in the frequently asked questions is geared towards residents of New Jersey. The tool does not take the place of the IEP. It is a way for the student to become the actual center and help lead their own meetings. And for the purpose of this conversation, the focus was on the independent living section.
All right, thank you.
I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's see, there is something in the chat. Okay. Yes. You're more than welcome. I appreciate you taking the time and thank you.